like how we went beyond just our product, but also championed a whole category in a bigger way and built things community first. So that's what I think I would love for us as a company to be remembered for.
What's going on, everybody? This is Alex Quin. On today's episode, we have co-founder of Rocketlane, Shri Ganesan. So talk to me about Rocketlane, man. Break it down for me.
The reason we exist, all of us use project management tools in our companies, and most PM tools. If you look at Smartsheets, Asana, there's a bunch of very successful tools. Our vision is to help teams execute better on customer-facing projects, really elevate that experience of client project delivery, both for the internal teams as well as for the customers.
I love the name in the domain. Super cool name.
Yeah, definitely.
What's going on, everybody? This is Alex Quin. This is another episode of Hustle Inspires Hustle. On today's episode, we have co-founder of Rocketlane, Shri Ganesan. What's up?
Hey, Alex. Good to join you. Thanks for the opportunity today.
Thanks for jumping on. I know you're traveling. You took out some time to chat with us. Where are you at right now?
I'm in Chennai in India.
Nice. Okay. Where are you guys based out of?
So I'm based out of Lehigh in Utah.
Okay.
But we have a large team in Chennai in India, so I keep shuttling back and forth.
Beautiful. How long have you been in Utah?
Since August 2023.
Oh, okay. So a little bit less than a year. Were you in the States before, or you were just somewhere else within the States?
No, I was in Chennai. I was visiting the US and spending more time over there. Decided to make the move. We were building a team in Utah. Made sense to be with the team as we sort of cement our US operations and sort of grow the team over there. So decided to be with the team and made the move last year.
Nice. Okay. So talk to me about Rocketlane, man. Break it down for me.
Sure. So the reason we exist is, all of us use project management tools in our, in our companies, and most PM tools. If you look at Smartsheets, Asana, there's a bunch of very successful tools. All of them making $700 million or $1 billion of revenue a year. 50% of the projects that run on these tools are typically customer-facing projects. But none of these tools were purpose-built for customer-facing projects. That's what we set out to change. Our vision is to help teams execute better on customer-facing projects, really elevate that experience of client project delivery, both for the internal teams as well as for the customers. So that's the reason we exist.
How long have you guys been in existence?
We've been around for 4 years now as a company.
Mm-hmm. Talk to me about your client experience. I'm somebody that wants to become a client. I call in or I message in. Walk me through the journey so I understand how the process is.
Sure. Typically, most of our customers discover us in two ways. One, they actually know that there is a category called client onboarding or implementation software, and they find us because we are leaders in that space. They sign up for a trial on our website, and we reach out to them to say, hey, you're not going to figure this out on your own. You're in a trial, but let us show you around. Let's do a demo for you. Bring them on a demo, then have a conversation, understand their pains, and obviously help them justify what they're buying and in their minds, and then they make the commitment to work with us. The other way, which is far more interesting, is someone was working on a project with a vendor and they experienced Rocketlane as a client. And they were like, hey, this is a cool way to follow a project, to see what's happening, to hold each other accountable. This seems interesting. So maybe I want software like this too. So it's almost, think of it as like network effect for us, where when our customers are working with their customers on projects, their customers get interested in our software and then, get curious, come check us out. And then, they're already sold by the time they come in because they've experienced the customer side of things already.
Right. Okay. And what is your value prop? Like, what is one of the things that makes you guys stand out against other competitors in the space?
Right. I think the way we've built our product is to be very all-in-one for that project delivery team. So if you look at a typical team that's working on a project with a client, there would be this they need to cobble together this whole set of tools to collaborate and execute with the customer. That's going to be a project management tool, maybe some spreadsheets, maybe documents. Typically, they now have like a Slack shared channel. They would also be sending emails back and forth. So there's all of this that's happening, right? And there may also be software you're using for like NPS or assessing the customer sentiment through the project and so on. We said, hey, what if we put all of that together in one experience where there's this all-in-one tool? You have your project plan, your communication with the customer, all of the documents are housed right there. The weekly status updates exist right there, and they go into the customer's inbox as well. And there's this native CSAT so that you're understanding the customer sentiment along the journey. And you don't need to have two versions of everything, something that's internal, something that's shared with the customer, whether it's a document or a task in a project, etc. You're able to mark things as, hey, this is private. This is meant to be just for my team. This comment is internal versus this comment is shared with the customer. So you sort of built that granular sharing and hiding with the customer, build this feedback mechanism with the customer, all of that into the tool, and also templating. So the whole idea is also about how do you standardize how you run your projects with your customers and make it less hero dependent, more system driven in terms of how your team functions when it comes to working with clients. So those are ways in which we've sort of really differentiated what we offer.
What subsect like breakdown of clients do you have? Is it like agencies? Is it large corporations? I'm guessing you have a general mix, but what do you see the most of?
Yeah, there's a mix today that is a certain way. I don't think it'll stay the same way in the future. But today, 80% of our customers are software and tech companies that have implementation teams or professional services teams internally. So these implementation teams, onboarding teams, PS teams, typically they run very cookie cutter projects. They have like template that they need to execute on. They have a well-defined kind of project that they want to run with the customer, and we make it super repeatable for them. We make it very all-in-one as an experience, as I said, and that helps them get every customer launched faster, launched on time, with better accountability on both sides. So they love our software. So 80% of our customers fall into this category of software and tech companies that have like the professional services team or implementation team at these companies use us.
Who are some, if you're able to mention, who are some potential competitors in the space who may be doing something similar to you, who are acquiring clients in your specific industry?
Right. So the big companies in this space, if you look at what typically gets used before people discover Rocketlane, it would be a combination of two kinds of tools. On one hand, there are project management tools like Smartsheets, Asana, Monday.com, etc., which get used for this use case. And then there's this category called professional services automation. So the big companies in this space are Certinia, Cantata, etc. And we typically go up against them. So we end up replacing a combination of the PSA tool and the project management tool to bring in Rocketlane. And when I say that PSA as a category, what that involves is the time tracking that's needed to run client-facing projects, the resource planning, accounting and financials of these projects. Like you have your rate cards, cost cards that you enter so that you can assess what's the margin you're making on a project. You can do your revenue recognition and project accounting the right way. So all of that also exists in Rocketlane. So we solve not just the delivery side, but also the professional services automation or like the operations around the delivery.
Talk to me about the service. Do you have a freemium model and then you ascend? Is it just a paid model starting off? How does it work?
It is a paid model, but we have a trial period. So we have a 2-week trial that we offer. Of course, if someone really wants to try it for one more week, we will let them extend that trial by a week. And we try to do an assisted trial in that period so that customers understand what they want to validate. We help them with what they need to validate, help them with some hand holding, and give them a jump start so that they can get comfortable that the solution is going to work for them. And then, they end up buying into one of our tiers. We have 4 different tiers today, starting from like a very basic plan to like an enterprise version.
I'm guessing you get a lot of business from word of mouth, but are you acquiring clients through paid advertising?
We do spend on ads as well, especially because this is a new type of product, a new category. We find it useful to get in front of more customers who may be searching for the category or searching for content in the category, etc.
Okay, what are you guys being active on, like Facebook, Instagram? Or are you guys doing platforms like TikTok, YouTube?
So we're big on social. We're on YouTube. We're on Instagram. Obviously, we're on LinkedIn.
Podcasts.
And podcasts. But one of the interesting things we're doing is we also have our own sort of audience in a couple of ways. One is we run 2 communities in our space. One is Flight. So that's a community for people in implementation, onboarding, etc. And then we run a community called the PS Club, which is a community for professional services leaders. So both of these have, like, Pre-Flight, for example, has over 3,500 people globally now. A lot of active engagement, has chapters in 17 cities where people in the community organize their own events. And, it's taken a life of its own. We're pretty proud of what we've done over there. And then another big initiative is something that we call Rocketlane TV. Think of it as like our own version of a Netflix, where we have content relevant to professional services leaders, implementation leaders, etc. But it's put together in a very engaging format, almost binge-worthy experience, so that people can come and subscribe to Rocketlane TV and watch all of the content available there.
What are the primary challenges businesses face in adapting to remote work, especially concerning project management?
Sure. So I think there's a bunch of challenges when it comes to remote managing, especially across companies, right? Firstly, there is an accountability challenge. Keeping things on track, following up with team members, both internally and externally, is pretty hard. And there's changing priorities. And if you're not able to walk up to someone stable and say, hey, what's happening? Why are we not getting this done on time? Why did a priority change? It's hard for a project manager to keep on top of all of that. There's also the aspect of tribal knowledge is more siloed these days with remote work. So your best project manager may be doing things very differently from new team members. There isn't an easy way to ensure that tribal knowledge is sort of flowing through to all of the team members. You need to be very intentional about it. You can solve for it, but it takes a lot more effort in the remote world. Rolling out any process changes you want to, which are going to help your teams be more efficient or execute on projects in a better way, is harder, because you need to really ensure that everyone is engaged in a remote environment, understanding the changes you want to make, why you want to make them, and adapting to those changes. And then I think just this people, especially newer team members entering the workforce, when things are remote, find it harder to raise their hand and ask for help, because they don't, if they're entering the workforce for the first time, they're not comfortable knowing that they can ask for help. So very often people aren't actively asking for help when they need to be doing that. And in a project situation, if you let, if someone is trying to solve a problem, not asking for help, the delays sort of start snowballing, and it may become too late by the time someone says, okay, I need help over here. I'm not able to finish the work that I need to do for this project on my own.
Why is it crucial for businesses to integrate customer-centric project management software in the remote work models?
Yeah, I think, you know, there's a certain way the world is changing, right? I think customers expect, and this may sound cliche, but if you look at what happens to you when you order something on Amazon, you get notifications on where the order is, what happened, is it on the way, is it shipped, is it at the delivery location yet, etc. Even when you order pizza, it's in the oven, it's done, it's coming your way. But when you're working with a vendor on a large project and you're paying $50,000, $100,000 to execute on that project, and you don't have the right kind of visibility, you're waiting on like a weekly status update from someone to know that something is off track. That's not an ideal experience. So the customer-centric angle is about how can you have that single pane of glass to create the right transparency and accountability on both sides? How do you remove anxiety from the customer experience over here? Very often in customer-facing projects, it happens that it's a 3-month project and it's only 2 weeks, 3 weeks before the deadline that you realize that, hey, things are actually off track. You're not going to make it on time. It's a lot of things have been a black box till the last moment. People aren't flagging risks early enough. And all of that needs to change, right? And that's where we believe there is like purpose-built software that can have huge impact in, really creating a better experience, de-risking a project early on, having those early warnings and, governance measures built into the experience that ensure that projects are more often on track and there aren't any surprises.
In the brief that I got from Rocketlane, it says that businesses using efficient project management systems save 28 times more revenue compared to those without. I wanted to unpack that a little bit, and I wanted to know if that stat that you shared is something that you guys did internally, or is that stats from somewhere else?
It is a stat from somewhere else. I can sort of look at what that actually means, but essentially organizations that invest in tried and tested project management practices like governance practices end up spending 28 times less money to complete like large strategic initiatives compared to those that really aren't on top of their governance practices, aren't on top of like their project management practices. So in general, just like the core project management practices, if you don't follow them, it's more likely that things slip.
And they drag on. Yeah.
Data, and it only gets worse over time.
Yeah, it happens to me. I run a marketing agency outside of the podcast, and for us to be able to keep up with project management for a lot of projects, unless we did, we'd spend a lot more time on the project, which in turn cuts into our profits. And at scale, I'm guessing, for corporations much larger than mine, it could be a real nightmare if they don't have the right systems in place. So with that being said, can you share any success stories or case studies where Rocketlane's platform significantly improved project delivery or profitability, or both?
Absolutely. And though I mentioned at the beginning that 80% of our customers are tech and SaaS, there is another 20%, which is actually what you said: marketing agencies, legal services companies, IT services companies, etc. And in all of these cases, there's a few ways in which I think we make huge impact. One is simply elevating the customer experience overall in project delivery. Think of this, in your whole delivery experience with your clients, even for your marketing agency, right? What's the UX of your delivery? We believe there should be an experience that's like digital first, which people expect today, which really helps clients follow what's happening, understand their role in the project, what they need to be accountable for, execute collaboratively, and that helps build the partnership. So one of the big impact that we are able to create for customers is, for an agency, it may be repeat business. For a SaaS or tech company, it may be expansion happening faster. So think about land and expand kind of motions. If you had a great experience early on in the partnership, you're getting set up faster, you're getting to value faster with the vendor, you're likely to want to do more business with that vendor. So faster expansion, more expansion is one impact that we see. You asked for specific case studies. We've had customers who have seen like a 70% reduction in their time to go live with the customer. And this happens for a few reasons. One, just the use of purpose-built software means everyone is more accountable. They take the project more seriously versus if you're using like a spreadsheet and sharing things with them. It brings a certain professionalism into the whole experience, right? And that means automatically people have more intensity coming into what they need to execute on. They know that everyone can see who's dropping the ball. The leadership on both sides are aware. There's no there's less chance for finger pointing. It's more clear where the ball is dropped. So all of this leads to a lot of more rapid execution on both sides, better as a result of all the better accountability that happens. This again results in not just improved timelines, but also saved costs, right? When you think about you staffing someone on a project, if the project finishes faster, if you're spending less time on follow-ups and chasing the customer, that's time that you can spend elsewhere on a different project. And everyone has only limited bandwidth in terms of how many projects they can handle in parallel. So if you finish a project faster, you can pick up the next project. So those are ways in which we've seen people really have true impact in terms of their productivity, in terms of like time to launch, time to value, and increased NRR for SaaS companies and increased repeat business for services businesses.
How can interested listeners learn more about Rocketlane and its offerings, or maybe even check out a demo?
Yeah, just come to ocketlane.com and you can sign up for a free trial, check out the product, or take a demo with us. We'd be happy to show you the product around. I'm at sri@rocketlane.com. Feel free to write to me anytime and I will respond. So yeah, we're
I love the name and the domain. Super cool name. Super cool domain. I'm sure that's very helpful.
Yeah, definitely. I think people appreciate the name and our sort of brand presence online as well. We've done a lot on the front. So yeah, something that's good for us.
How do you want to be remembered, Shri?
I think one of the things we've done really well as a company is have this attitude of building for the community. So we actually launched our community 9 months before we launched our product. Building with this, keeping the brand in focus upfront. One of the cool things we did in the past was we launched when we did our Series A announcement, we launched that with a rap song. And it's not a cringe music video that typically startups put out. It was actually a very classy video, which got 100,000 views on the first day, had an MTV VJ sort of tweet about it. And I think we're creating a new playbook for how a SaaS company can build their audience and make this a movement and sort of champion a category in a new way. So that's what I think I would love for us as a company to be remembered for, like how we went beyond just our product, but also championed a whole category in a bigger way and build things community first.
How about you? How do you want to be remembered?
Maybe for, contributions to new ways of doing a SaaS business. Hopefully, I do know some other founders have told me that they like what they're learning from us in terms of our marketing playbooks and so on. And I mean, I've played a role in that, and I think I will get remembered for that.
I love that. Well, look, everything we've discussed today is going to be linked on the show notes. We're also going to have a page on hustleinspireshustle.com/podcast. If you're listening, if you're watching, wherever you're listening, if you want to check out Rocketlane, you want to get a demo, we're going to link it right in the description or on the website. And of course, you guys have socials. What's the best way to connect with you guys? Where are you guys most active?
LinkedIn, we're Rocketlane HQ on LinkedIn, on Twitter, etc. So hit us up.
Beautiful. How about you? Are you active on LinkedIn as well?
I am.
Alrighty, so I guess we're going to be jamming on LinkedIn. Listen, guys, thank you so much for tuning into this episode. I was excited to present Rocketlane to you guys. I've had a few software companies jump on the podcast and explain everything that they do. This is another super cool one. You guys have any questions, bombard them on LinkedIn. If you guys want to follow-up episode, you guys want to learn more about the brand, make sure to hit me up and let me know, hey, bring Shri back on, have a dope conversation with him. But until next time, see you guys. It's Alex Quin, Shri Ganesan. See you on the next episode.